This is Joe Betar.
This is Ramon Robles.
And we talk to fascinating people about their love of hunting, shooting sports, and the outdoors. This is Hunting Matters. We're going to be talking today with our friend Luke Coccoli. Luke is the Director of Conservation Programs for the Boone and Crockett Club. And if you've not heard of the Boone and Crockett Club, you've been living under a rock somewhere. So enjoy our conversation with our guest today, Luke Coccoli. So Luke, what's going on with you today?
Oh, just tying up some loose ends. I was out fixing a little bit of electric fence at our rifle range before lunchtime, and it's not snowing today, so that's nice.
Yeah. So where are we talking to you from?
I am located on the Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Ranch, which is the Boone and Crockett Club's 6,000 acre ranch, nestled right up here along Montana's Rocky Mountain front.
Nice.
I'm not quite at the end of the earth, but I can see it from here.
Wow. Wow. So tell us about that ranch. So you're living there? I mean, you reside there, you work there. How did that all come to play, and what's that like?
Yeah, so I started working for the Boone and Crockett Club in 2012. I grew up just down the road from the Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Ranch. So closest town to the ranch is 10 miles away. It's called DePuyter. South of that is another town called Shoto, population about 2,500. DePuyter population is like 60, 65. But anyway, I grew up in Shoto. I loved the outdoors, fishing, hiking, hunting, camping. Thought I wanted to be a game warden. Went off to college and studied fish and wildlife management at Montana State University. As I was working my way through college, between my junior and senior year, I worked for the Forest Service on the Rocky Mountain Ranger District, right there out of my hometown, and really enjoyed that job. I was a field biologist technician, and getting close to graduating my senior year, I called up the district. I said, "Hey, love that job. Would love another opportunity to do the same thing this summer. Are you guys hiring?" They said, "Nope, sorry. We don't have the budget for it this year, but here's a job application we encourage you to apply for." And it was with the Boone and Crockett Club. Coming fresh out of college, I remember like my junior, senior year, like a wildlife capstone class. There's like a paragraph or two in our wildlife management textbook talking about the Boone and Crockett Club, talking about TR. And I was like, damn, I totally forgot the Boone and Crockett Club even had a ranch 30 miles, 40 miles north of where I grew up. So I applied. It was for a facility manager position, kind of the behind the scenes work for our conservation education program. I worked for a lady whose daughter I graduated high school with, and her husband was actually a game warden that I'd done some ride-alongs with. So hit it off well, started work like the week after I graduated college, moved right up here to the ranch, moved into a bunkhouse, and just started working away. And then about 2 months in, that lady I knew and my boss, immediate supervisor here on site, she said, "Well, Luke, I'm going to retire. I'm moving on, and I'm going to hand you the reins of the whole kit and caboodle." So I've just kind of been living in the area, living on the ranch, and working here ever since, starting 13 years now.
That's crazy. Wow. So are you married? Do you have a family? Are you there by yourself? Do you have coworkers? What's it like? What's that existence like out there?
Yeah, today I'm up here completely solo, so it's pretty quiet. But yesterday we shipped out about 22 scouts and 4 staff members of mine, plus our cook was here in-house. So 25 people left. Yesterday it was busy, loud, chaotic, and today's as quiet as could be. Just me up here. But yeah, I'm married. Married kind of my high school sweetheart. We're 2 years apart in school, so she went to Montana State as well. But I worked up here again in about the middle of nowhere for 2 years while she was still in Bozeman. We got married in 2014, and now we've got 3 children together. A 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 3-month-old. So I don't want to hear any complaints about lack of sleep.
Well, we raised three boys, so I've been there. I understand. We had three boys, all 4 years apart. So I'm sure the little bit of time you get off there when you do get alone, it's very welcome. Ramon and I have both been there.
Yeah, people used to always ask before I was married, like, "Don't you get lonely up here?" But I had a dog. I still have two dogs. I guess my two dogs are still here today with me. So no way. There's always something to do. You're always busy, either working or hiking or fishing in your off time.
Yeah.
And then a dog by your side.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you're fairly remote. I mean, do you prefer that remoteness? Is it kind of a shock to your system when you have to go into populated areas and be among the big crowds and things like that?
Yes and no. I was lucky. I got to travel a lot when I was a kid. My parents came to Montana from back east. My dad was born in Boston. My mom grew up in West Virginia. So we traveled to Rhode Island, Florida, Texas, West Virginia, traveling, seeing family. I've been overseas a couple times, and I like to see it all and experience new cultures and things. Town life definitely has things to offer that are valuable, but for the most part, yeah, I like it rural. I like it remote. I like it in the country.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we live in Houston, so we don't have a choice, and it's an hour to go anywhere at any time. But I told Ramon about this before, my trips to Alaska or some other places, but especially Alaska, when you go out to a fog neck island, there's no people, there's no phones, there's no internet. And you get back, like we fly back through Chicago, and you hit that airport, and that airport comes to life, and you can feel the vibration of people on your skin after you've been cut off from it, and even for a short period of time.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So the Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Ranch, is that, and it's owned by Boone and Crockett. Was that a property that was originally owned by Theodore Roosevelt?
No.
Okay. It's just it's a namesake.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Boone and Crockett Club was founded in 1886.
Okay.
And the ranch was purchased in 1986.
Okay.
So I always tell people, basically, the club wanted to walk the walk, not just talk the talk of conservation.
Mm-hmm.
So they were looking for a place in North America that had it all, right? Had all the North American big game species. This parcel of land that we're on in what they call the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem. It's also known as the crown of the continent.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Glacier Park, just about 45 minutes to the north, Banff National Park above that. So it's a real spectacular piece of ground. It's it's part of the less than 1% of our globe that's left undeveloped, untrammeled, unplowed. All the North American big game species that were here when Lewis and Clark traveled through the area, and 1,000 years before that, are still here today.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Banff. I love Banff. We actually got a chance to go up to Banff National Park. That's a place, Ramon, you should take your kids.
Yeah.
Incredible.
1 and 2, yeah.
Just beautiful, beautiful.
Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. You had a question?
Well, I was going to ask him what the fees are for DoorDash up there. Got to be out of this world.
Yeah, one time, you think it would never happen, but one time we did essentially call an Uber driver. It was the year right after COVID, I think, and an adult leader got sick. All the scouts had left out in front of him, and I had to go shuttle the scout vehicles and bring another scout kid to a trailhead, and it was a whole thing. But she didn't charge us via Uber rates, but she had her own little driver service.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that would cost?
No.
Some of those things, you just learn to live without.
Yeah.
That's I go meet my friends, and they're like, Venmo, like I'm just getting set up with Venmo. Like, what is this technology thing you speak of?
Yes. This black magic. Hey, listen, I'm not too far behind you. A couple of years back, this guy showed up at the house to do a little work for us, and he's like, "Can you Zelle it to me?" I'm like, "Do what? Zelle?" And so then I had to get a Zelle account. Luckily, our bank has Zelle, and then we had to set up on a Venmo account. But man, it sure does make it easy because nobody carries cash anymore. Normally you pull out, this will be $100 to fix this board on your deck or whatever. Nobody's got cash anymore. So it's just, It's so easy. One day we'll have the computer chip in our brain. We can actually just look at somebody and send you money through through our eyeball.
Oh,
Well, what's convenient is I never carry cash, and when you valet or you want to tip the guy who brought up our luggage when we went to New Orleans the other weekend, I said, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Let me run down to the ATM." He goes, "Oh no, I have here. Scan this."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. Here's 50 cents.
I guess if you're in the service industry, it's a must.
You have to now.
Because I bet cash tips are just gone.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. Next time I get a guy to carry my luggage, I'll just have to Zelle him or Venmo or whatever. Send him a QR code or something like that.
It's funny. No matter how well you know this land, you always seem to get lost in it. That's because it's your escape, your place to reconnect to nature and yourself. At Capital Farm Credit, we're proud to help people like you purchase recreational land where you can hunt, fish, four-wheel, or simply get lost in. To learn how we can help you secure land like this, visit CapitalFarmCredit.com. Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better.
Being on a shooting team provides our youth with valuable life skills like confidence, responsibility, and leadership. However, most of the nation's youth shooting teams have little or no funding. The Midway USA Foundation is a 501c3 public charity working to sustain and grow the shooting sports industry by providing long-term funding to thousands of these teams, probably one in your community. Learn how the Midway USA Foundation is changing the future of youth shooting sports. Visit midwayusafoundation.org.
Hey, I'm Trace Atkins, and if you grew up hunting like me, you know the importance of sound, or more importantly, silence. Every step, every breath, every move gets made with purpose. Silencers control the noise, and thanks to Silencer Central, buying one is now easier than ever. Plus, Silencer Central ships straight to your front door. Visit silencercentral.com/simple to see how you can get silence delivered.
When seconds matter in the game, every single decision made can mean a big win or a frustrating loss. When it comes to buying your next home and selling your existing home in the current market, every decision can mean serious money. Aggie fans, it's Dave South, and as you know, I've studied the best players and the best teams to represent our A&M family. One thing I've learned over the years, the best coaches have the respect of their team and the 12th man, you, the fans. In Bryan College Station, no realtor has more 5-star reviews on Google than Lance Lester and his team at the Lester Group. Why is that? Simple. No one offers more options that benefit you. If you want to buy your next home before you sell your current home, Lance can help you do that. If you want to know the date and price that you can count on your home selling for, Lance can guarantee it in writing. When the game is on the line, you want a leader with a proven track record calling the shots. Get your home sold faster and for the most money. Work with my friend Lance Lester and the Lester Group. Go to thelestergroup.com. That's thelestergroup.com and experience lightning in a bottle selling your home.
I got to ask you a question. We're going to talk more about the Boone and Crockett Club here in a minute. But years ago, and I have not had a chance to go up there and see it, but one of Teddy Roosevelt's ranches had his original cabin. I heard the story, and you may not know the story. I'm sure you do. But I thought it was a really cool story, Ramon, because they said something like Roosevelt had a cabin that was on a river, and that the cabin was still there. They rebuilt it or something, but that the landscape had shifted so much that the cabin was farther away from the river than it used to be when he went there. Is that a true story? You heard that?
I haven't heard the river dynamic part of it, no, but I'm guessing maybe that's the Elkhorn Ranch in the Dakotas.
Yep. Man, what a cool organization to work for, and the legacy and the history. And I don't know if you love the outdoors and conservation and hunting and all those things, just to be affiliated with an organization that's tied to that great man. And Ramon and I have had discussions with our guest on the podcast over the we're almost at 200 episodes now. But my question to a lot of people, whether they're legislators or decision makers in the outdoor world, whatever it may be, is who's our next Teddy Roosevelt? Mm-hmm. Do you have any thought about that? Because, I look at it, here's my opinion. Johnny Morris, I think, is our modern day Theodore Roosevelt, the guy who owns Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. He more than anybody I know or work with gives back more money to youth programs, to conservation, whether it's fishing or hunting or whatever. I kind of consider Johnny Morris, our modern day Teddy Roosevelt. What do you think?
Oh man, it's tough because how not only conservation minded do you need to be these days to make change, but how, politically knowledgeable to know the system, to know how to get votes, to know how to turn bills into laws, sort of thing. Teddy and everyone he surrounded himself with were obviously influential enough to get that done. But I think one thing that's not talked about enough is conservation was an extreme idea back in TR's time.
Right.
Like, we just got done with this thing called Manifest Destiny, and we wanted to take over the world. We wanted to explore the uncharted areas. We wanted to go east to west as fast as we could and take and use and kill and cultivate and build. And TR saw kind of the travesty that was happening on the extreme side of that. One quote I like to mention of his is from hunting trips of a ranch hand when he's traveling across the Dakotas going on a buffalo hunt, and he bumps into somebody who's been riding his horse for 4 or 5 days. And he says, "Teddy, I haven't seen a live buffalo in 5 days, and I haven't been out of sight of a dead one."
Dang.
And you see that in like our Boone and Crockett Club photo archives. There's a guy standing on a stack of buffalo skulls that's probably 20, 25 feet tall.
Yeah.
Another guy standing below it. So think about trying to make that change as a politician in a culture and in a society that's been taking and killing and has had no regulation, had no game laws, had no hunting seasons, had no quotas, had no real true wildlife management formally. And you say, okay, guys, we're going to tax ourselves on the goods sold to do this activity. We're going to regulate when we can do it, how we can do it, how long we can do it, how many we can take. Like, I've got to imagine people are just pissed.
Yeah.
So, in today's super politically charged society, I don't know what could fly, what couldn't fly. But I think the next conservationist is probably a 4th grader with muddy shoes and a fishing pole in his hand and riding his bike to the nearest creek to soak one of Johnny Morris's spin baits or whatever it may be. I hope it's somebody out there who's enjoying the outdoors and understands what we're doing to our world now, and that they can make a real change, and we need to act now to continue to save some of these things.
Yeah, you think back when you bring up that conversation about talking about Teddy Roosevelt and his cohorts that all got together and go, "Hey, we got to do something." That was a time where not only were buffalo being killed in mass, but this commercial hunting of ducks, where they used to use these giant punt guns on the top of these big canoes, basically, and they would shoot hundreds of ducks in one shot. They filled them with everything from bolts and nuts and pieces of shrapnel and metal and stuff like that, and they'd shoot it across the water into this big flocks of ducks that are sitting on the water, and they'd kill hundreds and thousands of them, and they would sell those, and there was a big huge fur trade to Europe and all those sorts of things. And we're so far removed from that now that we forget about how it almost depleted all the wildlife in our country. And that, and the other thing that makes me think about it, prompts me to think about the fact that here's a group of people that were hunters and fishermen and conservationists at heart, yes, but they were hunters and fishermen, and they were the first, to my knowledge, example of people getting together going, you know what, we need to tax ourselves, like Luke was saying, and spend money to preserve habitat and wildlife for these people. And that legacy is carried on today, because now, the people that support more habitat restoration, more wildlife management than anything are the hunters, people who hunt these animals. So that's pretty cool. And Boone and Crockett, of course, is steeped in that history, and people, and that photo you mentioned actually is a very famous photo. I remember seeing that photo as a child, going, "Wow, that is so cool." But so Boone and Crockett is. Tell us a little bit about just kind of an overview of the organization. It's a membership-based organization. Tell us a little bit about its mission and its history. I know it's got a very long and reputable history, but tell us a little bit about who Boone and Crockett is today as well.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, it was founded in 1887 by Theodore Roosevelt. And he basically, like I said, came out west. He was interested in hunting, exploring, the outdoors. He was, a huge nature geek when he was a kid. He loved birding. He actually got into taxidermy by studying birds and taxidermy birds in New York, where he grew up. But he saw the plunder of wildlife and natural resources, so he ended up going back to New York and getting a group of his friends together, George Bird Grinnell being one of the top invites in that group. I think there was 9 of them, and it was the first weekend in December in 1887, which is important only because we still meet. The Boone and Crockett Club still meets every first week of December and has an annual meeting at various locations around the country. It changes every year, but we still get together and meet. Today, the club is made up of 100 individuals, and that was something Theodore and the rest of the group decided was going to be the number. 100 regular Boone and Crockett Club members.
Okay.
So we get some comments all the time. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a Boone and Crockett member. I'd love to come to the ranch. I know I'm a member because I get the magazine.
Right.
It's like, well, you are a associate member, and we love that you're a member in that regard. But we have a couple different tiers of membership. There's regular members who are the 100, and that is by invite only. You have to kind of know somebody who knows somebody, and obviously care a lot about wildlife and conservation. Johnny Morris is one of those. Richard Childress is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Roosevelt is one of those, just to name a couple. But we also have professional members, and we have a couple hundred professional members, and we kind of think of those as more of the worker bees. They're in the wildlife conservation industry or the state or federal agency side of things, and they're actively doing things. They might be like a prestigious bighorn sheep biologist from one of the states, and we invite them into the club to help us on issues not only with sheep, not only in their state, but broader picture as well. So we have a network of kind of workers and leaders and doers, and really kind of high level educated folks. Either they could have law degrees, they could be in oil and gas industry, they could be photographers, they could be artists, all of the above. So we have members from Alaska all the way into Mexico, male and female members. We have a board who kind of steers the giant ship of the Boone and Crockett Club, and then we have all sorts of committees and subcommittees under that.
Okay. I'm glad we dug into that, because I didn't realize that there was a core group of 100 members and that was the stipulation. And that's pretty cool. Is there a secret handshake?
I was just going to.
Well, you do have to have killed at least 3 big game North American species.
Okay.
With rifle or bow, and you have to have a very firm understanding of the importance of wildlife conservation and fair chase. You do have to have been to a meeting before.
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of get vetted by other members. A guest of so-and-so would kind of be on your name tag that first annual meeting or spring meeting you go to.
Yeah.
The mission of the club is to promote the conservation and management of wildlife, especially big game.
Yeah.
And its habitat, to preserve and encourage hunting, and to maintain the highest ethical standards of fair chase and sportsmanship in North America. So again, North American big game wildlife focused, but that trickles down very quickly to wildlife habitat, policies, game laws, wildlife disease. Even, we do a lot of work in university programs at the collegiate level, training tomorrow's leaders and biologists and policymakers. So it's a very broad organization beyond, of course, we haven't even mentioned the records keeping side of things.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ranch.
How close are you, Joe, from being eligible? How many of those
eligible.
boxes do you check?
All of them.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Or you just, because I do too.
No, we check both. So if you
Okay.
put us on the list, I'm sure the waiting list is probably 1,000 deep.
And listen, I can vouch for Joe. He can vouch for me. So we're pretty good here,
Yeah.
Luke. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Just make that official.
I wonder how many times a month that Luke gets called, hey, man, I want to be a member, you know.
That's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, Luke, we have our own club, and we're thinking about maybe letting you in. We don't know, though.
The initiation's tough, though.
Yeah.
You have had to have killed 7 wild animals, 2 with your bare hand,
Yep. Yep.
and 1 with the car on a innocent. It was by accident.
Yeah.
But it was with your car.
Oh, wow.
Are we still enforcing the? So we used to have a category where it was like the hot dog eating contest that, up at Nathan's. You know.
Yep.
We still have that stipulation
Yep,
as well.
that's
so
it.
you got to eat. You have to eat at least 12 breakfast tacos, and at least one of them has to be lingua, and one of them has to have like a side of menudo.
Yep.
So.
Man, I just saw that Nathan's hot dog champion guy highlighted in the news the other day. Like, oh, I can't imagine.
Oh,
Could
Joey,
you-
what's his name that they
Chestnut?
banned? They banned him, didn't they?
Or yeah. But could you imagine being in that competition and coming in second? How
No.
miserable you got to feel. I just ate 57 hot dogs.
You know
in
the
10
only thing
minutes.
worse than that though, being that guy's plumber. That's just I
Yeah.
can't. No.
I mean, only in America. No wonder people hate us.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
got so much food. We compete with it.
If you really stop and think about it, yes, it's just ridiculous. Hunting Matters is sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Under the visionary leadership of founder Johnny Morris, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's is leading North America's largest conservation movement. Together with their partners in conservation, they're positively shaping the future of the outdoors through donations, grant making, and advocacy. The 501c3 Outdoor Fund raises funds to support conservation efforts by activating more than 200 million passionate sportsmen and women, rounding up their purchases in Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores and online. Visit BassPro.com or Cabela's.com today.
Turn a gun you like into one you love. You'll shoot better with the Boyd's Hardwood Gun Stock. Upgrade your firearm to Boyd's and your gun will fit you better and look better. Boyd's uses only top-grade hardwoods because a hardwood stock performs. Boyd's gun stocks are engineered to fit precisely on its specified gun model. Their engineers have continued to perfect manufacturing methods since 1981. That's why you get far more gun stock for your money. Boyd's makes gun stocks for hundreds of gun brands and thousands of models. Shoot better today at boydsgunstocks.com. Nobody wants to imagine an emergency on a hunting trip, but when the unexpected happens, you want the team of medical and security experts at Global Rescue to be there for you. Global Rescue Operations Centers are staffed by experienced personnel, and you'll always speak to an expert on the first call. With unparalleled capabilities to transport members to their home hospital of choice, you'll get back to your preferred hospital, not the closest. So, trade what-ifs for peace of mind with convenient travel services designed for the unexpected. Learn more at globalrescue.com/hunting matters.
Gunworks is a Cody, Wyoming-based manufacturer and provider of premium long-range rifle systems, optics, components, and training. Since 2006, Gunworks has led the charge in innovating and engineering premium quality long-range shooting technology, equipment, and techniques with a singular goal of providing hunters the ability to achieve quick and effective one-shot kills at whatever distances shots are encountered. The Gunworks team is dedicated to service and perfection in purpose-built products ready for 1,000 yards out of the box. Learn more at gunworks.com. That's GUNWERKS.com. So, Luke, as long as we're talking about hunting, what's your favorite type of hunting to do?
Oh, man. It depends on what month it is. I shouldn't even say this.
Now he's just bragging.
It's the glory of Montana.
Yeah.
You can hunt almost every month of the year except July.
Texas, well, we got you beat then because Texas you can hunt year-round.
Is that right?
Nice.
Exotics and pigs
Oh, yeah.
and coyotes.
Yeah.
Predators is all year round. In fact, mountain lion all year round
I didn't know that.
because they're not considered a managed game animal in the state of
A
Texas.
cute animal.
Right? Yep. But if you had your so let me just say this: are you a bow hunter or rifle hunter predominantly?
I do both. I grew up rifle hunting. I didn't get into bow hunting till I turned about 20, but I love bow hunting for elk
Yeah.
in Montana, chasing bugles.
Jeez.
Yep.
I've killed 3 elk with my bow. My first bull elk ever was with a bow. I killed one with a bow before I ever got an opportunity to kill one with a rifle.
Yeah.
Still haven't killed a deer with my bow, though.
What? You need to come to Texas. We can put you on a deer all day long.
No, he doesn't want to come to Texas.
Yes,
There
he
is
does.
no reason for him to come to Texas. He is in Montana.
I'm kind of a late onset turkey hunter, so
Me too.
I'm getting into that a lot. And that's
Be careful,
amazing.
man. Be careful. It just takes over your life. I'm as they say, eat up with it now.
Grew up mostly rifle hunting, whitetail. Once I got this job, transitioned a little bit slowly into more mule deer because we're in a huge winter range and a migratory zone for mule deer that come out of the Bob Marshall Wilderness and come out onto private lands winter. So it's really well known for their big, dark-horned, massive and cool genetics. We got some trident points. We got some kicker bucks, just big mountain mule deer. So gotten a couple nice mule deer with my rifle. I've killed a black bear. I killed a black bear actually with my boy when he was 4. What's the Davy Crockett song? Killed him a bar when he was only 3.
Wow.
So my son was 4, so we didn't quite get to that level, but close.
Dang.
So, there's something about predator hunting. I like trying to call in coyotes in the winter. I've got a mountain lion on the wall. That was a real fun hunt. I tried to get that one with my bow, but too many pine tree limbs, so switched over to 45 caliber pistol.
Yeah.
I love watching dogs work, so I'm an upland bird hunter as well. I love chasing pheasants and hearing those roosters cackle.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Let's go back to turkeys for a minute. What is it about turkey that really just got you hooked?
So the first turkey I ever killed was in West Virginia with my uncle, and it was after my grandpa had passed away. But my grandpa grew up, I could always see his turkey beards hanging on the wall on his whitetail racks above his office desk. And I mean, he had dozens and dozens, and it's just something kind of mythical to me. So then when I got that opportunity to go with my uncle, it all lined up the first morning and was just, 2 toms came in, gobbling, strutting, made the shot, got one down. The next day, I got humbled very quickly on what turkey hunting can actually be like, because we heard gobbles, but nothing came in. The next day, same thing, warmed up a bunch, and we never saw another tom after that. But I guess just kind of closing that loop. Like this year, crazy thing happened. It's whatever it is, 3:30 in the morning. I'm getting my boots on in the house to go turkey hunting. I live the closest turkeys to me are at least an hour drive away.
Yeah.
So I'm not in, the true turkey woods right out my back door or anything. But my grandpa's thing was always hooting, a hoot owl.
Oh, yeah.
He was a coal miner, so we worked the hoot owl shift. And after he passed away, my mom got an owl tattooed on her forearm. If you have a mom with forearm tattoos, you have a badass mom like me too. So anyway, I'm putting my boots on at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and outside the house I hear a hoot owl.
Oh wow!
So in that moment, I was like, as crazy as this, that feeling when you first wake up and you're brewing coffee and you're kind of groggy, but you're excited, but you're just, everybody has to sit down and put their boots on.
Sure.
It's like a connection, this crazy spiritual connection of like, man, my grandpa did this how many times before he walked into the turkey woods?
Right.
And then that morning I killed a tom.
Wow.
How about that?
What a cool story.
Yeah. Thanks
for sharing that with us, Luke. Man, that's really cool. That's really cool.
I had a buddy from South Carolina come up. He actually worked for me for 3 years. He was our conservation intern. And he wanted to come back out to Montana and deer hunt, but unfortunately for him, our non-resident license fee was not favorable for a college student. So he's like, I'll come out and turkey hunt. So, it's fun that you can do it with other people. It's fun. You can travel in Montana. You can kill something like 11 turkeys in a year.
Right.
We have like 4 different regions. So you could kill 4 toms in the spring. Gets me back into the whitetail woods. It's just a big old bird that tastes delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just something special about them. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
I too picked it up later in life, and it's just, I think I told Ramon this story a couple of weeks back, but I was calling in. I have a good buddy of mine that comes to Texas every year, and we call together and hunt together. He's a much better caller than I am, but I've learned a lot by watching and listening to him, and I was calling in a bird for him this last spring season. And after he shot his bird and got it down and everything, he kind of leaned into me and he goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Man, I could hear your heart pounding." And he's sitting right next to me. We're squished up together trying to conceal ourselves, but he goes, "Man, I could literally hear your heart beating in your chest." And I'm like, I can't help it. Whether I'm hunting them or just calling them, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about it. Yeah, it's crazy. And I think if you get past that point hunting, you just go ahead and quit.
Stop.
You should stop. People are like, "Oh, I never get shaky. I never get nervous." I still do it. I mean, I get the job. I can get the job done. But if I ever go, meh,
Yeah.
if it doesn't raise my heart rate and blood pressure, I'm done with it. I don't think that'll ever happen. I really don't.
Yeah.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put the next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to DEARanch.com. That's DEARanch.com.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
Hunting Matters is presented by RC Cartridges. Founded in Italy in 1970, RC Cartridges is a family-owned business dedicated to technology, innovation, and shooting excellence. RC has a historic legacy as a provider of ammunition for Olympic champions, and they are constantly evolving with the goal of producing the highest quality cartridges available. RC is as passionate about shooting and hunting as you are. Whether it's hunting or shooting, steel or small caliber, RC Cartridges has the shotgun shell options to meet your needs. Go to rccartridgesusa.com to learn more. That's rccartridgesusa.com. Are you interested in breeding exotic wildlife as a method of generating cash flow for your ranching operation? Wildlife Partners is an innovative wildlife conservation company that is the largest breeder, buyer, and seller of exotic wildlife in America. Let them show you how wildlife breeding and ranching can help secure the future of animal species while generating cash flow and substantial first-year tax deductions. Wildlife Partners serves more than 500 private landowners in Texas and numerous conservation-minded investors throughout the U.S. Non-landowners can also own wildlife. To learn more, go to wildlifepartners.com.
Hey man, let's change gears here a little bit, because Boone and Crockett has something really cool, and Ramon and I want to learn more about. It is the Fair Chase and Hunter Ethics eLearning module. That's a mouthful, and I'm sure it was a lot of work to put it together. So tell our listening audience, our show audience, a little bit about what that is and what it means to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're a new hunter or a veteran hunter, it really doesn't matter. You should be up to speed on what fair chase is from a historical standpoint, what fair chase means currently, especially in your state or wherever you're hunting, and what it means to you personally. Fair chase was first used by the Boone and Crockett Club in one of their meetings, and I believe it was 1888. So they really kind of coined the term, and really it belongs right there next to conservation as far as the sportsman's dictionary, because before conservation was really a thing, we alluded to this earlier with punt guns, basically we were killing and we were market hunting.
Right.
And we were selling deer hides for $1. That's where the dollar slang a buck came from.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How about that?
Yeah, going back to our Venmo discussion earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, a deer skin was worth $1, worth $1. So that started conservation. Well, to really bring conservation home and to start game laws, and more so just to let people know why conservation is important, the fair chase ethic came about. Because think about if you could sell a deer hide and that was your job, you're a bona fide killer, right? You're just going to go out and any way practical, whether you chase a deer into a snowbank, whether you happen upon a deer swimming across a lake and you shoot it in the water, that was not fair chase. That's clearly not fair chase per the Boone and Crockett Club's guidelines and their definition. So fair chase had to come about to conserve the hunting spirit in order to conserve the wildlife species that we hunt.
That's pretty cool. And so you guys have taken that legacy and that ideology, and you've gone to as Boone and Crockett does a great job of doing. You guys create some great educational tools and learning instruments. And so what you guys have done is you've developed everything's got to be online these days. So the online fair chase and hunter ethics course. So tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah. So basically, I had for the last few years gotten random emails sent to the club general email account and forwarded onto me, or calls directly to my office from middle school, high school teachers, hunter ed instructors, 4-H extension officers, and they'd say, "Hey, Boone and Crockett, we love your organization. We just became members. I'm a hunter. I teach middle school science, and I want to teach my class about hunting and fair chase and North American wildlife model and conservation. What do you have for me?" Especially because hunting's kind of a sensitive topic, and you can't hardly whisper the word guns in schools. What do you have for fair chase? You guys are kind of the flag carrier for fair chase. Do you have a curriculum, or what can you send me? And somewhat embarrassingly, I was like, well, no, I don't have a curriculum for you. Here's a cool little book called Beyond Fair Chase, a former club member Jim Posowitz authored. Everybody should check that out if you haven't gotten it already. If you've taken hunter education, it was given to me when I was 12 and took hunter ed in Montana. But we didn't have anything. We had some articles. We had our position statement on our website. We had a lot of content that I could direct them to online, or a PDF of a magazine article or something like that. But we didn't have anything tangible we could hand them. So a few years went past, and that kind of bugged me, and fair chase was always something the club wanted to do more in. Well, it wasn't until I was at a work conference, and Peter Churchborn with the NRA gave a presentation on what the NRA's Hunters Leadership Forum had done with their online hunter education program. A couple things that intrigued me. It was free. I think at the time they had like 11 states, 11 out of the 50 were signed up for it. When you take the course, that state can actually double their money, 2xing it basically with federal dollars for what a typical hunter education course would cost an agency to provide. So it's a funding mechanism to bring dollars back to state agencies. And the topics were phenomenal. The images and the videos were phenomenal. I took West Virginia's just because I had that kind of connection with my family being in West Virginia.
Right.
I signed up for free. I took it, and I was learning stuff. I probably spent a couple hours for about 4 days, a couple hours each day, taking the course. Well, when I got to the fair chase section, it was okay, but it was very short. It was maybe half a dozen questions and took 10, 15 minutes. And it was mostly about firearm safety, honestly. It wasn't really truly about fair chase. So I saw that as kind of our opportunity to use the content we already had, Boone and Crockett had developed and had been approved to even be published as our position statements, and do basically a module of our own. So I pitched the idea to some staff. They said, yeah, this is a great idea, but how are you going to get the funding? Because as we know, in the virtual age, you need a software designer, computer coder, all these web people to even dang near get on a Zoom call anymore. You need an IT specialist. So I went back to Peter, and he said, we have a grant program that can help you out with this. Write up a formal proposal, and we'll send it to our board, and we'll see what happens. So we did. We submitted a grant to make our very own Fair Chase and Hunter Ethics online e-learning module. We got the funding we needed. We're going to use the same exact web developers that the NRA did. They're based out of Salt Lake City. So Peter already had a great relationship with them. But he told me, Luke, these people aren't hunters, and they know very little about it. So you're going to have to educate them to then be able to teach through this module. So you're going to have to come up with all the content, and you're going to have to figure out how you want to say it, basically verbatim, sentence by sentence. So I started with just the basics, the who, what, when, where, why, how. Who needs to know about Fair Chase? When can it be applied? Where can it be applied? Why is it important? And how do we abide by it? So I went through every document in our basically Boone and Crockett archive of pre-published material, and I just started creating an outline. And if it fit under how, it went in there. If it fit under why, it went over there. I looked at several other authors' works and incorporated everything we could. And then I turned around and got another staff member, our previous director of records, Justin Spring, helped out tremendously. He was also on the Fair Chase committee within Boone and Crockett Club. And then a couple regular members and a couple professional members. Most of them all have PhD behind their name.
Right.
We had educators. We had our committee chair, the Fair Chase Committee, Hunter Ethics Committee. And we basically sat down and brainstormed through that outline of what do we want to tell and how are we going to tell it. So we had this kind of spit polished version of an outline.
Yeah.
We sent it over to the web developers, and they took off and ran with it. And February of this year, we published it, and so far we've had over 400 individuals take the course. Super exciting topic.
So is it a free course?
It is free.
Okay.
Yep.
And folks can find it on your website at Boone, Boone-Crockett, Crockett.org. And then, of course, it's got a long URL for our online Fair Chase and Hunter Ethics course. But if you go to Boone-Crockett.org, they can find it there.
Yep. And click on the Learn tab.
Okay.
And you'll see all of our programs here at the ranch and education center.
I feel as the newest member of the Boone and Crockett program, I should get on that as soon as possible.
Yep, it's a totally free course. You just get in, log on, make an account, and then you can access the course anytime. So you can start and stop as you wish. It can take you 6 months to complete it if you want, or you can sit down and knock it all out in a day. It's very interactive, and it follows the story of two kind of early adult onset hunters that have never hunted before, are a little bit apprehensive to hunt at first, but they go out with a family member. They talk with several people. A wildlife biologist is one of them who gives them some of the history of wildlife management. But yeah, it turned out very well. It ends, don't give us any spoilers, but basically ends with the brother-sister hunters. They successfully tag an animal, and they share a meal of deer venison with their friends. And it even, gives the kind of thoughts and feelings of the friends as they show up to their friend's door before dinner. Like, are we going to eat meat? I've never had venison before. I wonder what it tastes like. So it really kind of brings home all those reasons why, and hopefully culminates to an end of we as hunters need to know that what we do and how we act and how we hunt is going to dictate a lot of how other people see us. And those other people are the vast majority of voters.
Right.
Less than 10% of voters in our country hunt. Not all of them are anti-hunters,
Right.
but a lot of them are non-hunters. So they just don't understand. And that was one thing that was unique coming out of the development story was, a developer shared with one of her friends one day walking around a park. He was griping about having to buy a fishing license and how it costs so much. And she said, well, do you know actually what those dollars do? Like, I'm working on this thing for this group called the Boone and Crockett Club, and I've just learned this, that, your license dollars help stock this pond with fish. They help pay for a wildlife biologist to monitor it. They help pay the game warden or buy his truck to come enforce laws. And, they even send funds to go to boat ramps and fishing access sites. And he's like, wait, what? For real? People had just never made that connection that wildlife conservation is so intertwined with those who use it and enjoy it and give back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's a story we struggle to tell every day. And like you said, there's the anti-hunting population, there's the non-hunting population, and the non-hunting population is the one that we've got to do a better job of communicating and educating. Because even if they never pick up a rod or reel or a gun or go hunting in the fields, you and I are like mine, that if you do more for wildlife and habitat conservation buying a hunting license in your home state than you'll do ever giving $29 to SPCA or HSUS every month. It's just, you'll save more animals at the bottom line. I tell that to people all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And, buy your state hunting license and then go join a conservation organization who's working to get it done all across the country as well, if you'd like to help out more. Yep. Another neat thing about the course, and this is kind of the carrot on the stick for folks to complete it, once you complete the course, you will get access to a page to purchase your own Boone and Crockett Club Fair Chase Challenge coin.
Oh, nice.
And the clubs wanted to do a challenge coin for a long time for various reasons, but this one I feel is very special because it is a piece of fair chase that you can literally carry in your pocket. So you can have your fair chase ethics with you morally, inside your soul all day long. But I feel like it's a friendly reminder to have it, right there in your pocket as you're hiking up a mountain and you see a giant mule deer rack through the timber, but you don't have the greatest shot. It's going to be kind of that reminder of where do I stand ethically and how do I make the right decision at certain times. So there's that as well to check out.
That's very cool. So Ramon and I will take the course, and I want you, Luke, to score it and tell us who wins, who performs better. We'll have
Sounds good. I do get a completion list at the end of every month, so let's go by who finishes it first.
Oh, now the pressure's on. Well, Ramon's going to Paris, so the entire week he's in France and Europe. I'm going to go ahead and knock mine out.
No, that's funny you mentioned that. I've had club members actually say, "I'll take the course, but don't look at my grade." And if it's not graded, it's pass fail.
Yeah.
And that's another unique part of the software side of it. Every time you click the incorrect answer, it gives you a reason why it's incorrect and the whole thought process behind it. And even if you get the answer correct, it kind of goes into explaining why that was the best choice. So we put a lot of work into those explanations to really make it a concise, well-rounded module.
Yeah, that's very cool. So at the end of the day, you complete the module, you complete the entire course. What is it that you want somebody to have achieved or have learned? Kind of a summary of it. I've done the course now. I'm walking away with blank.
Yeah, better understanding of the history and purpose behind conservation and wildlife management and the Boone and Crockett Club.
Okay, perfect.
A better understanding of what fair chase is and why it's important and how it will continue to affect us long into the future. And then really that as hunters, we can do more and we can educate all those around us about why what we do is so important.
And on that note, we're going to probably have to wrap it up here. Luke Coccoli, Director of Conservation Programs for the Boone and Crockett Club. Thank you, man. We appreciate your time. And I don't know if our listening audience here, we had some technical, we had to kind of stop and pause, but thanks for putting up with us. And we look forward to having you back sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Have a great week.
Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production. Hosted by HSCF Executive Director Joe Bitar and Ramon Robles. Produced by Ramon Robles. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.